Instead of being concerned that you have no office, be concerned to think how you may fit yourself for office. Instead of being concerned that you are not known, seek to be worthy of being known. Just some wise words from Confucius. Hi, everybody. Fran Cassady with Cassady Online LLC. Today, Friday, I'd like to talk a bit about Karatbars. And I've vetted the company for you, gone through it very thoroughly. And so, marketers and investors, or better, savers, um, you can come on board Karatbars, knowing it is a good, sound company and a safe place to become an affiliate and a saver. The reason I found out that it is a good company, that it is a sound company. It's got 500,000 affiliates, first of all. Second of all, it is rated very high in Alexa, 21K worldwide and 11K in the US. Those are some pretty important figures to consider if you're thinking about coming on board, even as a free member. Love to have you come on board and check it out yourself. But today I've put together a presentation, and rather than talk about it straightforward, I think what I'll do is I'll um, go to a different view and present it point to point. And so I hope you'll get some interest and some knowledge from the presentation. But think about it, and love to have you come onto my team. And I'm on a team as well, Begin Gold, and it is one of the primary teams within the U.S. for Karatbars. And hopefully, better, we will make it work for marketers as well as investors. So with that, let's get to the presentation for today. I think what I'll do is talk about gold. That is what I have put together. And then sub in Karatbars into that scenario. And then hopefully we'll get some perspective from how Karatbars fits into that scene. And a lot of us are somewhat aware of gold, and it's been talked about long enough since we were young kids, that's for sure. And some of the points to consider, some of the advantages to consider, there is a strong global market demand for gold, known as a global market. Gold is an ideal hedge for financial market risks. In other words, you can add that to your portfolio, and then as the bear market comes into being, you've got a significant asset on which to fall back. Diversification with gold offsets inflation. And we've talked about that before. Fiat currency, of course, inflates and becomes less worth as time goes forward. And gold, of course, holds its value. And so another advantage of holding gold. Gold is a highly liquid asset. That's an important one. And so if you take it in to a dealer or to a exchange company, you can exchange it very quickly for cash. The primary disadvantages of gold, it has no yield. So, for example, stocks have yield, and they can climb very high, and they can pay dividends. On the other hand, they can go the other way. Large amounts of gold may incur some storage fees. They very definitely will incur storage fees. In contrast, Karatbars does not have storage fees for storing your small units of gold. Some ETFs, that's a traded fund, may incur brokerage fees kind of like shares of stock. So that would be, we've seen them, your broker has probably presented gold ETFs to you where you buy paper shares. And of course, you can incur brokerage fees for buying those. Gold can be volatile, but mostly on a short-term basis. So kind of like stocks in that respect. Let's take a closer look to understand how the advantages of investing in gold outweigh the disadvantages. There is a worldwide demand for gold investment. Worldwide. That's important to consider. A price rise of over $1,000 an ounce since the turn of the century. So it has kept its value and gone up in value for various reasons. Investor interest in gold continues to grow worldwide. And the reason for that is that the market for gold investment is diverse, with significant trade in India, England, America, Germany, Hong Kong, and other parts of Asia, as well as the Middle East. If you come on board as an affiliate, you'll find people will come on your team from the Middle East and Asia. The global market is one of the main advantages of holding gold as an asset. because unlike holding assets like shares can be subject to the whims of media coverage, gold is not subject to that. So everything that affects the rise and fall of shares, um, gold is not affected by that. Gold has great cultural significance worldwide, and we talked about that in the various parts of the world. This unique status means there is no substitute for holding physical gold. Why do people invest in gold? Gold is simply ingrained in some cultures as a form of wealth and savings. In some countries, like here in the US, for example, it's more about hedging financial market risks as well as wanting to hedge against rising inflation. And that is an extremely significant point for um, uh, getting assets in gold. In Western countries in particular, gold investment is driven by fear over by inflation and by investors who want to own an asset that is uncorrelated to the stock market. And so we looked at that a bit above, but a little bit different perspective, as gold is not really related to the stock market, except if you buy ETFs, the paper shares of gold, so that they can balance their portfolio. And we've talked about that, having gold as an asset class within your portfolio. And whenever interest rates fall or inflation rises, investors tend to look at making a gold investment, while a fall in the stock market also tends to lead more buying of gold. Bear markets will definitely prove that out. Gold provides excellent liquidity, and we talked about that above, as you can cash gold in very quickly. A gold investment is a very liquid investment. Same thing, different way of saying it. The ease with which you can buy and sell an asset should be a primary concern. Gold is one of the easiest assets for everyday investors to buy and sell. Gold prices have risen 9% per annum over the last 45 years. Gold can be volatile in the short term. Talked about that. A gold investment made for the long run tends to bear fruit. That kind of return almost matches the stock market. And then we have types of gold investment. Physical gold bars and coins, we've all have heard of that and seen that. Gold ETFs, which we talked about above. ETFs are the exchange traded fund. Gold mining shares. And at the end of that, we are going to add small units of gold, 1 gram and other small units, set in a defined Karatbars card. And that would be another significant way in the overall scheme of things to purchase gold. And once you purchase a gram, for example, embedded in a Karatbars card, it is very, very secure, because Karatbars have taken the time and put in the necessary technology to protect that card to the infinite degree. And that card stays in your account with Karatbars in your back office. And there's never any charge for storing gold within the Karatbars back office. There's other vehicles like futures and options. We've heard of them. The first three options have been the primary choices to pick from when you buy gold. Each of these three forms of gold investment have had their advantages as well as disadvantages. So we bring in Karatbars into the overall scheme of things, and remember the significance of that from the standpoint of storing gold, and there are no brokerage fees in buying gold. Two very important points to consider when investing in small units of gold in Karatbars. Another factor is that Karatbars makes it affordable, so you can buy a gram of gold, and you can save in grams of gold, and it makes it very affordable for the average person to invest in gold. So, some interesting perspective here, comparing Karatbars with the other vehicles of gold. And I hope you got some value from the presentation. And I hope that you take the time to take a look at Karatbars. And if you do, join as a free member. We'll give you €100 certificate for the purchase of gold, small units of gold within Karatbars. So with that, on this Friday afternoon, Fran Cassady with Cassady Online LLC, calling it a wrap. Thank you very much for watching the presentation, and we'll talk to you later.